I'm an optimist at heart, and that's why I'm running for president. I believe that America is a great nation, and it has a noble purpose, and I believe the best is ahead of us. And if we think that way, if we think optimistically, and we think about a future that's better than our past, that's how we end up creating it. I'm focused on the future of the country. That's what my campaign is about. Too many in the other party, in the Democrat Party, are looking in the rearview mirror. They're looking at the past. They want to go back to the 1990s. They want to go back to the way we played defense against terrorism in the 1990s under Bill Clinton, and they want to go back to the high taxes and big government of the 1990s. And that would be a terrible mistake. It would be a terrible mistake to lead this country from the point of view of pessimism and protectionism. They act as if America should apologize for its impact on the world. I believe America has nothing to apologize about our impact on the world. We're the biggest engine of freedom and prosperity in the world. If America is going in the wrong direction, I hate to think where the rest of the world is going. So to succeed in this world and to succeed in this kind of economy that we have, America has to be committed to free people, to free governments, and to free markets. So today I want to talk about one of the 12 commitments that I made a few weeks ago to the American people. The way I'm running my campaign is I think it should be run on ideas. So I have laid out on this little card, so I don't forget it, it's called My 12 Commitments to the American People. These are the ideas that I believe are the ideas that should be the backbone of my campaign, of the Republican Party, and ultimately then of the future of the country. I think that's the way you have to run for President of the United States. If you want to be a leader, you have to have the courage to set forth what you believe, and then let people decide whether they agree with you or they don't agree with you. That's the way I turned New York City around, and that's the way I'm going to turn around America. This is why we need somebody elected President of the United States who doesn't come from Washington, who hasn't been affected yet by breathing the air of Washington, and can bring about common sense reforms like changing Sarbanes-Oxley, making Sarbanes-Oxley more sensible, not corporate transparency, good governance are important goals. We learned that. But Sarbanes-Oxley was an overreaction. It went too far. It needs to be reformed. You've got to consider the size of the business, the imposition on the business, the reality of the certifications that are being asked, and you have to consider it in a competitive environment. Just like if we tax businesses too much, they will go somewhere else. If we regulate them too much, they'll go someplace else, and we lose jobs. We need a competitive environment in order to make it possible for businesses and jobs here to grow. The reality is, as president, I can help to make our economy, not just in Michigan, but throughout the entire country, I can help make it a lot more competitive. I did it for New York. Believe me, in many ways it was harder to do it for New York than it would be for the entire country. In the meantime, one of the things we can do is to look at the global economy differently than the Democrats look at it. When I say that 20 or 30 million people per year are emerging from poverty in China and in India, what do Democrats say in response to that? They say, oh my goodness, what a problem. Look at all those people taking our jobs. Look at all those people making products, and they're going to undercut American jobs, and look at all of the outsourcing. That's the Democratic, pessimistic, defeatist approach. Here's the Republican approach, the optimistic, creative approach. I look at 20 or 30 million more people in either one of those countries, and I say to myself, look at all those new customers. Look at all those new people we can sell things to. Look at all those people that now have some money. And what can America do with that? What America can do with that is to sell them products and processes. And they need that. They need that. After all, China and India are developing, but they're somewhere and they want to come to where we are. We have the things that we can sell to them to get them there. if we think creatively about this, if we don't think like in a little hole in the ground, worried about every little thing and trying to put on tariffs and trying to stop people from doing things. Instead, let's think about how we can use this as an ability to expand. So it's time to open new markets, not to slam doors. To engage the world economy, we must tear down the wall to free trade. We need to restore the fast-track promotion authority for the next president. The Doha round of trade agreements should be carried to completion. Free trade doesn't mean letting people get away with everything. You need a level playing field. You need a president that is going to make sure that we're not being treated unfairly. But basically, our thrust has to be in the direction of free trade. The global economy is a wonderful thing for America. This is the world we wished for 20 and 30 and 40 years ago. When Nixon first opened up China, who ever thought this would happen? Now, they don't want to go to war with us, God willing. They want to trade with us. And who better than the United States of America to take advantage of that? If we think with American ideas, American principles, and not pessimism and defeatism and protectionism. That's why we need free trade, and we need a president who understands it. And America has to be much more active in promoting higher living standards around the world. The principles of freedom and free markets should be the foundation of our economic policies. We should measure higher median incomes and how that's coming about and how we're bringing that about. We should change the way the IMF and the World Bank operate so that they set standards so that the use of their money is actually tied to lifting the quality of life for people. Our foreign policy should promote not international welfare, it should promote international creativity, innovation, free markets, more trade. Much better off, rather than giving foreign aid to people, give them an opportunity to do business with us. Give them an opportunity to trade with us, because then we're going to make them self-sufficient. We're not going to make these countries dependent. 15 years ago, it was possible for a candidate, the same one who said, I feel your pain, to say, it's the economy, stupid. Well, nowadays, the economy and foreign policy are all one thing. Anybody who thinks that our economy can be dealt with just as a domestic issue is in for very serious trouble. Our economy is a matter of being a global economy. We don't have the ability to be isolationists anymore. We don't, because if we do, we're going to absolutely destroy the growth of our economy. America is under attack all over the world now. Our reputation is in jeopardy. I've been in 35 countries in the last 5 or 6 years, 94 trips. Half to three-quarters of the time, I spend my time defending my country against the most unfair, ridiculous attacks. Ridiculous things that are on television, radio, internet, all kinds of myths about America, horrible things you wouldn't even believe. Well, the State Department has to reorganize itself. It has to reorganize itself, and here's what the next president has to say to the State Department, and here's what I know I can do, because I changed numerous government agencies and got them to think differently about who they were and what they had to achieve. I changed the welfare agency into an employment agency. The State Department exists to advance the interests of the United States of America. All of the employees of the State Department exist to protect the American brand. America is a brand, after all. It's a great brand. It's the greatest in the world. It's a brand that represents freedom, like rights for women. It's a brand that represents electing the people who are going to govern you. It's a brand that represents the rule of law. It's a brand that represents respect for human rights and human life. These are great aspirations of the human soul. So protecting that brand is a really important thing. And the American ambassador, the people who are our State Department officials, should be constantly thinking of their role as being on television and radio and doing all of the other ways in which you communicate to protect our brand when it is put under attack or put in question or put in doubt. They got to be aggressive about it. You can't do anything more noble, anything better than defending the United States of America, and the State Department should be organized to do that. And then we should have Voice of America programs and cultural exchanges. We've just got to out-communicate those people who oppose us. I think that's the lesson that I have learned from watching the Bush presidency. We have to out-communicate. Republicans have to out-communicate anyone else because, let's face it, we don't get the same breaks that Democrats get in the media. So we can complain about that all we want. We can grouse about that all we want. We can feel sorry for ourselves all we want. And we can even feel paranoid if we want. But my view of all these things is, well, what the heck are we going to do about it? And what we're going to do about it is we're going to out-communicate them. We're going to have more people who are more effective, who are better at, after all, presenting a message that's the right message. We're going to do that for America. We're going to do it for our party. We're going to do it domestically. And we're going to do it internationally.